how we have the honor of treating internal conflict like our natural treasure. Following on from our first video on internal conflict, where we spoke about what actually creates it, desires versus hidden unconscious processes, identities, beliefs. And now moving on today to how we can honor it, and take the golden nuggets from it, be in our power.
Yeah. See it as a messenger from the powers that be. Like, conflict and tension is actually good. Like, it's good. It raises our awareness. So instead of looking at it as something like a problem, look at it as a chance for solutions, a chance to really become curious and aware of what is going on, like inside, maybe the conflict between your heart and your head, between your values and your external life, between like what you really want and where you're at, stuff like that. So just getting curious, and if something is bothering you, instead of just burying your head under the sand, just start investigating what it's all about, becoming aware, trying to figure out what the message is, what the treasure is within that message.
The message. Because isn't our body always communicating to us? If we think in terms of, if there's something wrong on a structural physical level, it'll communicate to us in terms of pain. And the internal conflict is no different. It's just psychological pain. But if you see it from the perspective of something there that awaits us, as you said, Aoife, the curiosity, explore it and seek the treasure, the message in it. That's you in your presence of your power, right? When you can see your internal conflict as something for you, not something against you, then you really start to see your life, see you as a powerful being, creator of your destiny, of your future, because nobody is without it. No. It's actually part of us. When we, I think a nice way to umbrella internal conflict is when we're not heeding or betraying our own needs, our own truth, our own desires. And it's like a little knock on the door, like when there's something physically up, you might get an ache. And then if you don't attend to it or pay attention or change something that you're doing, that intensifies and it stays around longer. And it's like the internal conflict. When you're not heeding your own wishes, needs, or desires, and using that knock on the door in a fruitful way from your power to understand what the messages are, to extract the information from that and leverage it to take your inspired action towards what you want, well, then that internal conflict just gets more intense and painful.
And it's kind of like trying to manage it then. Like, how do you manage it? Like, almost letting go of the need to know, or it's a resistance. I always find when I have internal conflict with myself, I'm resisting something. Sometimes it could be something externally. Sometimes it could be something like between my heart and my head. Like, maybe I really want something, but I know it's not right, or it's not good, or it's not the perfect situation, or so, but it's about managing it. And like, I think getting that clarity, gaining that clarity, acknowledging the conflict is there, and kind of asking it, what is this all about? Why am I feeling this way? Like, being aware of your bodily sensations as well. It's like, okay, I'm quite anxious. Why am I anxious? Where is this conflict? Because like, conflict creates anxiety, right? So being tapped in and tuned into your body, into the sensations, your emotions, your feelings, and really questioning, why am I feeling this way? Or why am I feeling over anxious? Or what can I do to settle my nerves? How can I make rash decisions? Stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's, it's when you speak about that, connecting and listening and asking the body what's going on. Most people, that's completely alien to them. And what I find is really important, particularly when you're starting off the journey, in turning within and sitting with the feeling or the emotion and unpacking it, figuring it out, asking the questions, exploring, discovering, being curious, as you said, Aoife. For for people I find, and my own experience when I started this, because the internal conflict will be there and you're in a state of the conflict or something not working, your system is fired up, it's irate, it's under threat, it's looking for survival. And the hardest thing to do in that moment is to try to bring in the logic brain and try to have a conversation with your difficult emotions. So always, this helps me take a step back. Like if it's in your mind that you just bring up, we all know the universal sign for stop. Various things work for different people, right? So whether it's you literally, I used to have to, when I was practicing this, now it's automatic, obviously, because like everything we practice, it becomes a muscle memory. So it becomes automatic. But I remember at the start, I used to have to, like that, visualize a stop sign or imagine myself taking 3 steps backwards. So away from it.
Yeah, detach.
Like literally the distance. It doesn't belong to you. You're the observer. And breathe to regulate that nervous system, to bring it back into a place that it feels safe enough to even contemplate and be curious.
And like just as well manage your mind, like so the cognitive side of things, like really become aware of what kind of like talk you're having with yourself. Like, is it negative? And if it's negative, what is it that, like, you know, like even write it down what you're actually thinking, what's the thought process around what's going on, and manage those words that you're saying to yourself, because like everything you say to yourself, you know, your mind takes on it. Your mind doesn't know the difference between real or imaginary. So be it positive or negative stuff that you're saying, your mind is just taking on board whatever it is you say, and your body then is reacting to what signals you're sending to your mind. So it's just managing that thought process that you're going through as well, and that, like, you know, kind of almost being kind to yourself and making sure that like you're forgiving yourself. There's forgiveness and awareness there. You're not berating yourself. You're kind of trying to find a solution as opposed to seeing it as a problem. Like when we look at things as solution based, then we're looking at them with a way better mindset, way more positive mindset, and just
Or
realize
just a
like,
creator base.
yeah,
Just
creation.
creator
Yeah,
base.
just realize you have the
Can
power
I
to
ask you,
mm,
since you're the breath expert,
the breath
right?
test. I wouldn't go that far, but anyway.
Well, yes, she is. She's very good. Um, she's a licensed breath instructor, breath
Breathwork
in,
facilitator, yeah, or instructor, yeah.
she's really good. She's very good. So before we get the cognitive stuff, because the cognitive stuff is the hard stuff to do, when we go back to those techniques of calming the body and actually talking ourselves into 3 steps back or stop sign or whatever it is, and then can I bring it back to the part where we could take breaths to calm down the body? What would you advise for someone whose system is in a hyper alert, hyper vigilant, and needs to be brought back down into a rest and digest state before they can start contemplate an alternative way of thinking or to change the cognitions around it? Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, no, there's a few, and like there's a few different very simple breathwork exercises that are out there that are really easy to do. Like even just as simple as the 5-5-5, or just 5-5 for 5 times. So 5 deep long breaths in through your nose. So you're creating the nitric oxide in your nose, which actually it opens up your capillaries and brings more oxygen into your bloodstream and into your lungs, which will help you regulate your parasympathetic nervous system. Because usually when you're at that state, it's your sympathetic nervous system that's on overload, and you want to get back down to balance your parasympathetic nervous system with your sympathetic nervous system. So just long, deep, slow breaths in and out through your nose. Then also maybe longer on the exhalation. There's also a few breathwork exercises. There's like box breathing, which is like breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, and holding for 4. So it kind of just brings you back to the now, brings you back to mindfulness. You're in the
And
moment.
Aoife, because that's very important what Aoife said. It's like about getting that, because when we're in the fight or flight, the system constricts everything to make us move faster, respond faster, do so many stuff. Even cortisol goes high to release our blood sugar in order for us to be able to respond faster and quicker. But that breathing in through the nose is so important because it releases
Nitric oxide.
the nitric oxide to dilate the blood vessels. But is there a frequency or a time frame or a number of breaths people on average that people should expect to take by the time they feel that calm, or is it different for everybody, or what's the
Well,
average?
I mean, they say once you start breathing, right, or we should be breathing right, and breathing right is always breathing through our nose, really. That's why our nose is there. It acts as a
Yeah,
filter, it has the nitric oxide. Like, there's so many benefits. And breathing through our mouth actually creates anxiety, or we're breathing in lots of toxins as well. So it's not a healthy thing for us to do.
I heard somebody ask, sorry to interrupt you, there I was listening to a breath expert, and he was asked, why do
Breathe
we have a
brilliantly.
mouth then?
Yeah.
Did you hear
Yeah. To
that?
eat.
Well, yeah, to eat, but the body is so clever. There's always a backup system to
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. It's
If your
true.
nose gives up, you can still
Yeah.
survive without dying. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting that we know that nose is for the breath, but it's like our nose is for breathing. Your nose is for breathing. Use it.
Yeah, but and like, see, the thing is as well, and you were saying the time frame, just keep doing it for as long as it feels good and you feel regulated. Like, you will
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
regulated.
yeah,
And like,
yeah.
there's other ones as well. It's like the 5, 7, 8. So breathing in really slowly, well, for 5 seconds in through the nose, holding for 7, and breathing out really slowly and long for the count of 8. And like, all those things, it's bringing you back to the now, to the here and now. You're not
Yeah.
outside of yourself. You're not overwhelmed. You're not thinking outside of, that situation, kind of overthinking, overanalyzing, and just having a little meltdown, really. So the breath work just brings you back to your body, to your mind, your body, and
Thank you.
to
That's,
the current
yeah,
situation. Yeah.
that's a really good point.
And it's so
It's just
simple,
like,
Lynn. That's the
yeah,
thing.
it is so simple. Yeah, but we're humans, right? We like to complicate things. But I love the way you said it's just everybody's different. You just do it until it calms for you. And the point is that it will,
Yeah, it will.
because
It
you're
will.
doing
It
the
can
very,
not,
it
unless
can't not. Yeah.
yeah. Unless you're not doing it properly. Or you could see, you could hyperventilate as well by breathing through your mouth and breathing really fast. That's not healthy in that situation. Long,
Forever.
slow, deep breaths through your nose is how you regulate. It's how you bring down the sympathetic nervous system, balance it out with your parasympathetic, which is rest and digest. And now your nervous system is ready to go. You have a clear mind. And like, as you said as well, then step away. Like, this kind of helps you step away, because it completely distracts you from all of the cray that's going on in your head.
Yeah.
And like, I don't mean to undermine, that internal conflict, because I have it all like, we have it all the time. Like, we really do. It's very hard to escape it. But the whole treasure in it is, like, kind of, instead of going, oh my God, what is this? I can't handle this, going, all right, hello, inner conflict or internal conflict. What's your little message for me, and what is going on here? Like, and kind of taking it as that, as a friend, a
Mm.
little messenger, you know?
Friend. It's
Yeah,
like,
a friend.
what wisdom do you wish to impart onto me today?
What
One.
am I missing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is it. It's like the energy of that. It's like, thank you for showing up. And you know what? You
Mm,
either like, no, it's such a beautiful sign, because if you were just numb to life and just in kind of the rat race of being content doing the same thing over and over again, you probably wouldn't get triggered much, but you're probably desiring something. And then your current reality is hitting you in the face going, yeah, but this needs change, this needs change, this needs change. Because if
mm.
you want to change something, you got to change what you're doing. So well done to you if that internal conflict is constantly there. It's just learning to flip it around and see it from the perspective of your powerful self, from your actual inner being, from the voice of wisdom and intuition.
Yeah,
So it's
it
all
is,
about
but it
alignment.
is, it's intuitive,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's kind of like your body and your mind telling you, hey, there's something just not right there, or you're, like, it's that tension. We need tension in order to grow. It's our growth.
Attention. I love that to finish on, Aoife, because
Yeah.
that's the thing. We're so terrified when we get these uncomfortable or unhealthy, uncomfortable, whatever word we want to put on them, yucky, disgusting, difficult emotions. But it's only because we've been trained into responding to our emotions that way. But the really conflict is necessary for everything you desire to create. It's one of the laws of the universe. It's the law of the land. All creation requires tension.
And balance, like, it's kind of like that. Yeah, it's a push pull, kind of a balance. But you have to have the push
Between 2
to have the
points.
pull, and you have to have the pull to
Yeah.
have the push, or
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but to be able to hold in when you hold the tension of the current reality
Mm,
from the perspective of, say, curiosity, or the perspective of seeing this as a message of wisdom, when you have those 2 points, where are you seeing it from and where you're at, that's creative tension, and that's where you're in your power. That's where you use that tension, of the inner conflict to move towards what you want, which is a little bit more advanced, right, Aoife?
Yeah.
That's what we do in our programs with people. So yeah, so and if you
Yeah,
want to
we're
get
going over our time tonight, Lynn, but that's okay. It was worth it.
when you get so into like the beauty
Gritty,
of
gritty.
it, and yeah, it's just but there's such a love for it, right? Because it's our
Mm.
core, it's our truth, it's our essence, the essence of wholeness, Aoife.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, my dear, we'll round up. Cheers, guys. See you all next week. I have my live, laugh, and love. I love it.
Take
We have
care.
to get our own mugs printed. That's
Yes.
maybe a
Put
not
up
so
in the
surprise
yeah.
Christmas present.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
Take
Anyway,
care.
okay, guys, take it easy. Bye.